Skid Row all the way to the Mexican border to explore the drug's deadly effect here on the streets of LA.
We want to warn you, some of the images you are about to see may be disturbing to watch.
I was lied to. I was promised it would help. Instead, it left me here. He sleeps on a stained mattress laid on the sidewalk. He hides his backpack under his head so it doesn't get taken. He wakes up already shaking, not from the cold, from withdrawal. He says, if I wake up and I don't have anything in my system, I start shaking right away. That's how I know the day is going to be hard. He thought it was just a painkiller. Then he learned it wasn't just a drug. It was a dangerous mix of fentanyl and other pills. A combination that does not care if your heart keeps beating. He stares at the sidewalk and whispers, I can't keep spending money on this. If I keep going, it's going to kill me. Behind his eyes is another story. A younger brother, gone too soon. The kind of loss that never fully heals, only hides for a while, until the next quiet moment brings it back. The substances he tried to use to numb the pain now attack his nervous system and strain his heart. Instead of healing him, they hold him hostage, and he is not alone. In 2024, tens of thousands of people in the United States slept outside every single night, under bridges.
Where we're seeing it is mixed with fentanyl, which could be a double whammy for individuals who are taking fentanyl.
On bus benches, in alleys, in tents. By 2025, reports say that outdoor homelessness has jumped sharply again, rising by double digits in just 1 year. But these are not just numbers. They are people. People who once had addresses, co-workers, neighbors, families. These are stories of courage, loss, and the raw human will to survive. This is not just homelessness. This is the heartbeat of America, calling for compassion before it fades into the background noise. In a nation with an economy worth tens of trillions of dollars, addiction is behind a huge share of long-term homelessness, pushing people onto the streets and making it incredibly hard to get back off. And so we have to ask, how long can this hidden current keep rising before it turns into a wave that none of us can ignore? At Homeless US News, we are not here to look away. We are here to walk into the places most people avoid and listen. Today, we're taking you across the United States, from beachside tourist spots to glittering casino cities, from tech hubs to desert streets, to show you what is really happening behind the postcards and the skylines. If you stay with this video to the end, you won't just see a crisis, you'll see people, and you'll hear a message of hope and action that involves you too.
That's a gamble we take, it's something that we live with,
Corrine Winter, KTLA 5 News.
The postcard that rips in half, Venice Beach, Los Angeles. From far away, Venice Beach, California looks like a dream. Sunshine, palm trees, music playing along the boardwalk, skate parks, murals, tourists laughing, surfers running toward the waves. But walk just a few steps off the main path, and the postcard tears in half. Rows of tents line the sidewalk. Tarps flap in the ocean wind. Bikes, carts, and suitcases are tied together with rope and hope. The smell changes. Wet clothes, old food, trash that never quite gets picked up, and underneath it all, the heavy scent of exhaustion. Behind each thin layer of fabric, someone is fighting a battle most visitors never see. People come to Venice because the weather is mild, but survival is not. At night, the ocean air turns cold and cuts through thin blankets. During the day, the sun beats down and turns tents into low, stuffy ovens. People sleep lightly, afraid their last belongings will disappear while they rest. And hanging over everything here is the quiet but deadly shadow of fentanyl. Los Angeles County now reports thousands of deaths each year related to fentanyl and other powerful street drugs. Venice is one of the places where that danger is always close by. A pill that isn't what it seems. A powder mixed with something no one can see. A hit that is stronger than expected. A body that doesn't get back up. Meanwhile, the cost of housing spins out of reach. Rent over $3,000 a month turns the idea of stability into a distant fantasy, even for many people who are working. Community outreach groups move up and down the sidewalks, offering food, hygiene kits, referrals, and a few words of hope. But the need is greater than the shelter beds, greater than the rehab slots, greater than the funding. Most people living here do not want to stay. They want a way out. But wanting a way out is not the same as being given one. If these stories mean something to you, remember this: subscribing to Homeless US News is not just about watching another video. It's about making sure these lives do not stay hidden behind the travel photos. Streets that never sleep: Kensington, Tenderloin, and Las Vegas. 3.1. Kensington, Philadelphia, where sirens become background noise. Kensington, Philadelphia is a place where the human cost of homelessness and addiction is impossible to ignore. If you are willing to look, along Kensington Avenue, people huddle under thin blankets, lean against cold brick walls, while the elevated train rattles overhead. The sidewalks are covered in torn clothing, soaked quilts, broken umbrellas, and the scattered pieces of lives held together by threads. The air feels heavy, like the neighborhood has absorbed years of exhaustion and pain. Here, nearly every substance on the street is reported to be contaminated. Fentanyl and other dangerous mixtures make survival a daily contest against time. Emergency calls for overdoses are so frequent that the sound of ambulances blends into the rhythm of the city. Outreach workers carry Narcan medicine that can reverse an opioid overdose and sprint from person to person, hoping they reach them in time. High poverty, long waits for treatment, and limited access to stable housing pull people into a cycle that is brutally hard to escape. Even those trying to recover often face barriers at every turn. And yet, small lights still flicker. Neighbors share warm meals. Volunteers sweep sidewalks to reduce health risks. Churches open their doors on cold nights so people can at least make it to morning. These actions do not erase the suffering, but they send a quiet message. Humanity is still here. It is just fighting to be seen. Kensington forces us to confront a harsh truth. Homelessness is not a statistic. It is a collection of real lives, all happening right now. 3.2. Tenderloin, San Francisco, the shadow behind the skyline. San Francisco sells itself as a city of innovation, opportunity, and beauty. But in the Tenderloin, those promises often feel very far away. Just a short walk from shiny office towers and upscale restaurants, you find a neighborhood where people battle hour by hour, simply to stay alive. The Tenderloin is not just a rough area. It is a mirror reflecting what happens when a city grows richer and richer, while its most vulnerable residents are left behind. Tents once packed the sidewalks, hundreds of them. Officials cleared many of them away. But clearing a sidewalk doesn't erase a crisis. People did not vanish. They were pushed into alleys, doorways, and narrower corners, where the cold wind still finds them. Out of sight is not out of existence. The presence of fentanyl here is heavy and constant. You see people stumbling, struggling to stay awake, trying to carve out a few minutes where the pain softens. Overdose calls keep coming in. Families lose loved ones without a chance to say goodbye. Police reports show more petty theft and conflict, not because people are evil, but because hunger, trauma, untreated illness, and fear push survival instincts to the edge. Housing feels like an impossible dream. Rents over $3,500 a month are beyond reach even for many full-time workers. Shelters offer some beds, but nowhere near enough. Outreach workers hand out food, hygiene supplies, and something else most people overlook: respect. You still see resilience here, too. Strangers sharing food, volunteers stopping to talk, not just drop something and leave. Someone handing over a blanket they found that morning to someone who looks colder. If these stories move you, consider this: clicking subscribe to Homeless US News helps push these realities into the light, where change becomes more possible. 3.3. Las Vegas, beneath the neon. Las Vegas is famous for its glow, the lights, the casinos, the shows that never end. But step away from the main strip, down under overpasses, near flood tunnels and empty lots, and a different Las Vegas appears. In the storm drains beneath the city, near dusty lots and narrow spaces under roaring highways. Thousands of people try to survive out of sight. Many once had steady jobs. Some came searching for a fresh start. Others simply had nowhere else left to go. Now, every day is covered by a layer of uncertainty. Summer heat often pushes past 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Concrete turns into a stovetop. The air burns the lungs. Water becomes precious. Shade becomes a lifeline. At night, rest is shallow. People sleep lightly, ready to move. If there's another sweep, another confrontation, another sign that they are not welcome even in the shadows. Survival here is not loud or dramatic. It is quiet, tiring, relentless. Fentanyl casts a long shadow over these hidden communities. It is cheap. It is potent. It is easy to find. Many people reach for it not out of thrill-seeking, but out of desperation, to blur the fear, the heat, the hunger. Even for a moment, overdoses have become a constant heartbreak. Rescue crews see the same faces again and again, each time hoping this is not the last. Nearby businesses feel the strain, but often don't know where to turn or what to do. Still, small flashes of hope appear. Outreach teams crawl into tunnels with water and compassion. Mobile clinics bring basic medical care and treat people with simple human dignity. Sometimes a single conversation reminds someone that they still matter. If you could see these hidden corners of Las Vegas firsthand, would it change how you feel about the city? Share your thoughts in the comments. And remember to subscribe to Homeless US News to follow the stories America often tries to look away from. Heat, concrete, and the desert edge, Phoenix, Houston, and beyond. For point 1, Phoenix, Arizona, no mercy in the sun. Phoenix is one of the harshest places in America for someone with no place to live. Not only because the number of people without stable housing keeps climbing, but because the desert heat does not forgive. In a recent year, nearly 10,000 people in Maricopa County were counted as having no stable home. And when the sun rises, their daily battle begins. Temperatures climb past 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Tents and tarps turn into suffocating spaces, where every breath feels like effort. Along canals and in empty lots, people wait for water trucks, hoping supplies don't run out before it's their turn. Some sit silently in the small patches of shade they can find, fighting dizziness and dehydration, knowing the desert does not offer second chances. Underneath all of this is another crisis layered on top: fentanyl. Authorities have seized large amounts of it in the region, a sign of how deeply it has soaked into vulnerable communities. It doesn't just weaken bodies, it drains the willpower people need to rebuild. Meanwhile, housing slips further away. Average rents in the Phoenix area have climbed beyond what many working people can manage, pushing those already close to the edge out of their homes. Shelters try, but there are not enough beds, and the sun doesn't wait for more to be built. Phoenix shows us a painful truth. A city's growth doesn't mean much if the people most at risk are left outside its progress. For point 2, Houston, Texas, under the freeways. Houston is booming. New buildings, new businesses, new developments. But look just beneath the freeways, along the bayous, and in wooded areas on the edge of the city, you'll find a second Houston. People build shelters from tarps, tents, and scraps of wood. They try to create some sense of home, even when the ground beneath them is mud or cracked concrete. The heat here is intense. When temperatures climb into the mid-90s Fahrenheit, the air grows heavy. Shade vanishes quickly. Staying hydrated becomes a daily struggle. Cooling centers can help, but many people can't reach them. Fentanyl tightens its grip here as well. Its side effects show in slow movements, slurred speech, and flashes of tension and fear around encampments. Many people did not go looking for chaos. They went looking for relief from trauma, mental illness, or unbearable stress. The rise in conflicts near camps often reflects people pushed beyond their limits, not villains looking for trouble. Economic pressure adds yet another weight. With average rents around $1,500 a month and shelter beds stretched thin, thousands of people are left with no real options. Houston's Housing First programs have helped many people over the years, showing that stable housing can be the foundation for recovery. But lately, the need is growing faster than the resources. Outreach teams bring cold water. Mobile clinics offer health care. Local groups share meals. And just as importantly, respect. These small moments don't solve the crisis, but they remind people, you are not invisible. For point 3, quiet encampments, loud questions. From Albuquerque's riverbeds and parks, 2 other desert-edge cities across the Southwest, a quieter crisis is unfolding. Tents appear near dry river channels. Makeshift shelters rise under overpasses. Summer heat dries everything out. Then sudden storms flood it all. People who once had regular jobs, who once paid rent on time, now live one step away from disaster, where a flash flood, a police sweep, or a health scare can erase what little stability they have left. In these places, fentanyl and other dangerous street drugs do not arrive with fanfare. They slip in quietly. Cheap, strong, cruel. Overdoses repeat in the same communities, again and again. But so do small acts of grace. Someone shares their last bottle of water. Someone keeps watch while others sleep. Someone holds on to hope for the person next to them when that person has run out of their own. If you're still watching, you're already different from those who turn away. At Homeless US News, we tell these stories so they cannot be ignored. Rain, cold, and the invisible line. Seattle, Bowery, and Miami. 5.1. Seattle, Washington, drenched but not defeated. In downtown Seattle, near Occidental Park and Pioneer Square, the weight of the crisis is easy to feel and hard to count. Official reports may show a drop in the number of visible tents, but anyone walking the streets knows the struggle did not disappear. It just moved. Rain is the enemy here. It soaks blankets, coats, and tarps within minutes. It turns safe spots into cold puddles. It pushes people under bus shelters, under store awnings, anywhere that keeps a little water off their skin. Shelters fill up quickly. Some people avoid them altogether, afraid of crowded rooms, afraid of losing their belongings, afraid for their safety. Along busy streets, outreach workers come face to face with the slow, relentless toll of fentanyl. They watch people weaken in front of office buildings and bus stops, while commuters hurry past with eyes fixed ahead. Emergency crews revive the same person multiple times, not because that person doesn't want help, but because the help they truly need goes far beyond one emergency response. Housing is scarce and expensive. Rising rents and limited vacancy make even the first step towards stability hard to take. Tiny home villages and supportive housing programs offer signs of hope, but they only cover a fraction of the need. Seattle's crisis is not just about tents on sidewalks. It is about a city trying to be innovative and successful while still struggling to care for those who are left in the rain. 5.2. The Bowery, New York City. Between warm windows and cold concrete, the Bowery in New York City has always been a place of sharp contrasts. Today, those contrasts cut deeper than ever. Luxury hotels glow with warm light. Just down the same block, people curl up under thin blankets on freezing sidewalks. Once a proud working-class corridor, the Bowery now reveals a quieter, harsher struggle. Lives squeezed by job loss, high rents, and systems that catch some people and miss others entirely. Across New York, thousands of people live without permanent housing. Many drift toward areas like the Bowery when they run out of other options. Winter makes everything harder. Temperatures drop below freezing. Wind slices through multiple layers of clothing. Concrete becomes a block of ice under thin cardboard. People wrap themselves in whatever they can find. Donated coats, plastic sheets, scraps of fabric they hope will keep the cold away. Night after night, a battle is fought that the city rarely sees. A battle just to stay alive long enough to see dawn. Fentanyl deepens the shadow here too. Outreach teams report rising overdoses in alleys and near subway entrances. The crisis doesn't arrive like a sudden explosion. It seeps in. People reach for substances when shelters are full, when treatment is out of reach, when the loneliness is so loud, they would do anything to quiet it. Emergency teams do what they can, but without enough affordable housing, and mental health support, many people fall back into the same dangerous patterns. And yet, the Bowery is not empty of compassion. Volunteers serve food. Churches open their doors. Caseworkers and social workers show up where systems have lagged behind. These small actions become sparks of hope. In a place carrying heavy burdens, 5.3 to Miami, Florida, heat, humidity, and hidden struggle. Miami shines in photos, waterfront views, nightlife, colorful lights, but under the concrete overpasses of downtown, along cracked sidewalks near transit hubs, and beneath highway ramps, a different Miami lives in the shadows. For people without homes here, every morning is a reminder that survival is a full-time job. The heat is punishing. Temperatures often rise above 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Humidity turns the air thick and heavy. Makeshift shelters become stifling traps. Even breathing can feel like work. People rest on warm concrete, belongings stuffed into worn bags, hoping for a breeze that rarely comes. Dehydration sneaks up fast. The smell of damp clothes, trash, and unwashed fabric hangs in the air, a sign of how quickly dignity erodes when there is nowhere to shower, nowhere to rest safely. Fentanyl pushes the danger further. It slips into these communities quietly, cheap, easy to find, unforgiving. You see people nodding off against concrete pillars, curled under bridges, drifting in and out of awareness. They are not characters in someone else's movie. They are people wrestling with trauma, lack of support, and deep exhaustion. When help is scarce, the cycle becomes a trap. Shelters try to offer relief, but beds fill up quickly. City sweeps move encampments from one neighborhood to another, scattering people's belongings and pushing their lives into even more unstable patterns. Meanwhile, average rent hovers near levels that shut many people out before they even have a chance. Miami grows taller and richer, but the people in its shadow grow more invisible. That is why Homeless US News exists, to make sure these lives do not disappear. Each person here once had dreams, goals, and loved ones. Those stories still matter. Real change begins when we choose to see them. If you believe these voices deserve to be heard, hit subscribe to Homeless US News and stay connected to what is really happening on America's streets. A final message of hope and action. Homelessness in America is not just a line in a report. It is a human tragedy, playing out in alleys, under overpasses, in parks, and on sidewalks we walk past every day. Behind every tent, tarp, and worn-out sleeping bag is a story. A parent who had a steady job until a medical crisis or job loss knocked everything off balance. A teenager who ran from an unsafe home and found the streets instead of protection. A veteran who can't escape the memories of war and has nowhere stable to rest. An elder who helped build a community but was pushed out when the rent rose too high. In a single night in recent years, hundreds of thousands of people in the U.S. had no stable place to live. That number is rising as housing costs skyrocket and support systems fail to keep up. Every day brings new emotional battles that most of us never see. Nights spent awake, cold air cutting through thin blankets, mornings with empty stomachs, wondering if your few belongings are still there. Long hours searching for a restroom, for food, for a safe place to sit without being told to move. Exhaustion that sinks into the bones, loneliness that feels endless. Fentanyl and other dangerous substances make this struggle even harsher. Most people are not seeking chaos. They are seeking a way out of pain. For a short moment, the trauma goes quiet, but the cost is devastating, pulling people even further away from stability until escape seems impossible. Yet even in the darkest encampments, hope still flickers. Someone shares water, someone lends a blanket, someone keeps an eye on a neighbor's belongings so they can sleep for an hour. These small acts prove something powerful. Hope can exist even when almost everything else has fallen apart. Real solutions require more than sympathy. They demand long-term housing, accessible mental health care, effective addiction treatment, and communities willing to face the truth. Above all, they require us to see people without homes, not as a problem, but as human beings, worthy of safety, respect, and a second chance. So let me ask you, what is the most urgent step you think we should take to help people living on the streets? Do you think our cities are doing enough, or are we leaving too many people behind? Tell us in the comments. We want to hear your voice. And if these stories touched you, even just a little, please subscribe to Homeless US News. Every view, every comment, every share helps keep these realities visible and pushes the conversation forward. You never know who might see one of these stories and decide to volunteer, donate, advocate, or simply treat someone on the street with more kindness. And if you are watching this from a shelter, from a tent, from a car, from under a bridge, or from a sidewalk, hear this clearly. You are not a lost cause. You are not invisible. You are more than your worst day or your hardest night. There are people who care. There are people fighting for better housing, better treatment, better support. Your story is not over. As long as you are breathing, there is still hope for a different chapter. From all of us at Homeless US News, thank you for listening. Thank you for caring. And wherever you are tonight, we hope you make it safely to tomorrow.